suspicious.
You're the woman of the hour.
No, this is so weird. Why are you here?
Well,
this is so strange.
I think we all know why we're all here.
I hope there's like one person in the audience. I'm at the wrong thing, actually. I did not know I was seeing her.
So how did you guys feel about the first episode of season 2?
That's so sweet. This is genuinely weird and overwhelming. And I have never had this type of reception.
Yeah, and you were on Colbert last night.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. No, they didn't like me as much as you guys seem to. I mean, they were a bit harder to charm, yeah. Yeah.
So how are you feeling about putting season 2? I mean, I know it's like already in the world on the other side of the world, but we're gonna be getting it here pretty soon.
Yeah, so. I'm excited for it to come out here because look at, maybe we're clapping. That's, I mean, honestly, no, that's very, very sweet. It's so surreal that this show even goes out in America. Like, it's really, really strange. I'm so excited because I feel like, also with the first series, like it came out in the pandemic, you know, the height of lockdown. I didn't get to do any of this kind of stuff. And, you know, it's honestly, I'm buzzing out that people have even seen it in this country. Oh my gosh, the best thing happened today, St. Patrick's Day. I was coming out of a restaurant and this girl was walking, she might be here actually. She was walking down the road and she was wasted, but then she turned around, she's like, Starstruck! I was like, yeah. She's like, when's the next series coming out? And I was like, next week. And she's like, oh, cool. And I was like, girl, you are so drunk. This is the sweetest thing that you still recognize me from this show. That was like the best New York moment of my life.
I feel like maybe New York is your place.
Oh my gosh, maybe. I mean, no, it's just that one girl. We were joking about, like, is that girl gonna wake up in the morning? She's like, did I see Rose Matafeo? Or was that someone totally random?
I mean, maybe season 3 is set in New York.
Yeah, it's about that girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Series 3, it's a really weird spin-off. Yeah. Very strange. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the reasons why I know I love the show so much, and I'm sure like so many people also here have like connected with it, is just like how deeply it loves like romantic comedies, and obviously how deeply you love romantic comedies. Do you feel like you could pinpoint like what your romantic comedy origin story is?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's probably deep. It's not a happy one. No. What do you mean by origin story in terms of why I've come to love them? I mean, look, I'm just a person obsessed with love. You say love romantic comedies. I'm kind of just obsessed with them in a way. I have loved rom-com. I think I went through a big phase, I think, as a teenage girl who went to an all-girls school, deprived of any male interaction and very vivid imagination, and a person who loved films. I mean, I loved movies like growing up. I was a real film nerd, and I think rom-coms are one that I gravitate towards because I am really I love things about love, basically. Films about love. I'm a real softie. I'm a Pisces. That's the origin story.
But wait,
I was born in February.
but what's your rising and sun?
I'm a rising Aries, which is
okay,
Aries rising in the crowd tonight. Yeah. Awesome. Pisces and Aries mixed. I don't know. Yeah, but genuinely, yeah. It is because I'm a Pisces. Yeah.
Well, and how was it feeling going into like creating season 2? Obviously, like season 1 is so much about like kind of the will they, won't they, the meet cute, all of that. But this like season obviously is exploring what happens after that.
Yeah, I mean, it is incredibly difficult to make a sequel to a romantic comedy, as many people know.
As all of the Bridget Jones
sequels. Well, I know. Let's not talk. We will
sorry.
not speak of Edge of Reason.
Sorry, we love you, Renee. We love you.
Some bits I like about it, but you can kind of cut them down into
I like the yurt part in Bridget Jones's Baby.
Exactly. I love Bridget Jones's Baby.
Yeah, me too.
It was a real return to form.
I drank a whole bottle of wine in the theater while I was watching it.
A bottle of wine in the theater?
Well, I was sharing it with someone.
Sure, yeah. They'd just gone out. They didn't come back. I am sharing this. I swear to God. No, but it is because it's the whole nature of a romantic comedy. Because I feel like the show feels more like like a film, basically, from episodes 1 to 6. Because following one narrative, and it's I don't know how to write a TV show, so we kind of just wrote a film and then segmented it into 6 parts. But I mean, rom-coms are all about like it's a fantasy, right? And like when you end a rom-com, it's kind of like it kind of expects the viewer to sort of fill in the blanks and go, and they lived happily ever after. And then coming to write a sequel to that, you're like, oh gosh, what happens after that? And so it was difficult, but I don't know, I think there were nice characters to come back to, so.
Yeah, and how was it like kind of getting back together with everyone, especially like working with Nikesh, like obviously like we learned so much more about him in this season as well, and his character.
Yeah, further into the series, I think you see a bit more of his like you meet his family a bit, and his brother, and it's just a nice opportunity to flesh out the characters, because as you said, the first series was so will they won't they. It was just like two annoying people who just couldn't make it work. And finally they're together, and I love it because I feel like the slight twist of the second series is that Jessie kind of finally gets what she seems like she wants, which is to be in a relationship, but she realizes, oh, I'm a terrible girlfriend. I am so bad at this. And she has to learn a lot about herself.
Well, that's like one of my favorite parts of season 2. I was like, Jessie's kind of an asshole.
Oh my God, kind of. Yeah, but I love that. I mean, I think it's I find an interesting thing with particularly rom-coms as well. I think Jessie's a very kind of a different character than you see in rom-coms, and like I feel like there's a weird expectation a lot of the time for women to be like these moral compasses in film and television, and that when they do bad stuff, they're like, but you can't, you're a woman. And it's really nice to be able to write and play like a character with a bit of complexity, and it is an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, oh, I've done some shit like that before.
Exactly.
Like, I mean,
I know. Well, a lot of people that respond to like the series being like, why is Jessie an idiot? And I'm like, yeah, who would do that? What a weirdo. And I'm like, so many of the things I have legit done. There's a bit in the second series, which is a cold open, which is just beat for beat something that's happened to me. The first series, the weed freak out from Tom, like completely based on a situation with me and Alice, who writes the show, Alice Sneddon. So quotes from that are word for word. Word for word. Asking her to call an ambulance. It was humiliating.
Well, I think that's interesting because if you think about it in terms of like rom-coms, like the closest thing that you have in like a modern rom-com in like a character with complexity is Julia Roberts in My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yeah, and people hated her character. Yeah, let's get it. Nice one, Julia. Wherever you are. But honestly, I love her character in that, but people, to be unlikable is illegal sometimes for female characters, and I think there's been an interesting swing, but like with certain characters in television where it's like they've been, unlikable, but like more complex characters. Like I mean, I think Fleabag gets that a lot as well, and it's great, but I feel like some people people are very fast to try and define female characters and put them into sort of categories, right? Like there's like, okay, so there's the messed up Fleabag type, and then there's like the manic pixie dream girl, and like it's frustrating, I think, when you make a piece of work and you're like, I just love not to be categorized in any of these genres of women. But My Best Friend's Wedding, man, like she got so much crap for that. Like to the extent I read somewhere that like at the end they had a different ending where John Corbett shows up at the wedding and is her like.
You need Aiden to show up in that.
I know. And then they reshot it because they were like she can't end up happy after all she's done. So they replaced it with the Rupert Everett bit, which is he shows up.
I'd rather end up with like my gay best friend, honestly.
Yeah, but I'd be pissed off if I had John Corbett written out. I'm like, have you seen him in Northern Exposure? Stop it. Like, I would be mad as hell. I'd just be happy I got to shoot it, But yeah.
Well, I think women are assholes, and so it's like kind of nice to see.
No, it's true. Women can be assholes.
Women can be assholes. If anyone gets anything from this talk tonight,
it can be done, and we need to do it more.
It's Women's History Month. We're just trying to be visible here.
What a weird sentiment to leave this reviewing from. Go out there and be an asshole. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
There's a lot to celebrate.
Exactly.
Well, one of my favorite parts of this first episode is the whole Magic Mike bit. Like, obviously, have you partaken in Magic Mike's live?
Of course I have. Of course. Yeah, it's the best. A few bands in the crowd. Honestly, it's a stunning piece of theatre. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. Like the dancing, the showmanship, absolutely incredible. I went twice. The second time, literally at the height of like the COVID starting, to the point where I was on the way in a taxi hearing the radio talking about herd immunity. And I was on my way to Magic Mike Live. And
that's how your apocalypse movie starts.
100%. I got up on stage because I knew the person who does like the MC role, and she got me and Alice, the other writer of Starstruck, up on stage. This bit where, like, I don't know if they have that in the American versions, but in London we get to touch them, and I was like, you know, this guy was like making me touch his like muscly chest. And he was from Australia, and while he was doing it, he was like, yeah, it's really kicking off. Are you gonna go home? Do you think you'll be able to get a flight home? And like, really worried Magic Mike dancer. I'm like touching him, being like, yeah, I don't know, dude, it seems really serious. But it was so funny because Alice wrote one of the drafts of, for this episode, and she wrote so many options. She really wanted me to get lightly hit by a car. That was one of her pitches, and I was like, please write another draft of that. And then she wrote a draft where we ended up at Magic Mike, and I was like, that's really funny. And then we pulled so many strings to actually shoot it, like where they do it. And then like months after, she was like, oh yeah, I wrote this like a joke. Like I didn't think you'd actually do it. Like, so a huge plot point in the first episode was just a laugh from Alice. So that's great.
Magic Mike XXL is an American, like it's better than Citizen Kane. Am I gonna like, oh no.
Talk about a sequel that had stepped it up.
Yeah.
It's that, Beverly Hills Cop 2, the list ends, okay? That was an important movie, man.
It's very important.
What an incredible road trip film. Oh, I watched that like 3 times in the cinema.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was, so sad. 2 of those times alone as well. Stunning film.
I mean, it's a perfect film.
It's a perfect film. Sorry, yeah. It's not just stunning, it's perfect, okay? Get it right.
Well, and so how is it? I know that Emma, who plays your best friend in the show, is also. Are you guys still roommates in real life?
No, we parted ways amicably. It was a lot of tears, but no, we lived with each other up until the end of last year. Actually, in the episode, the cafe that they end up in is the cafe. It was just like literally the end of our road, because I kept on, because they were looking for locations and stuff, and I was like, yeah, what about this cafe that's like very convenient to my commute? You should do it. You should shoot it there and stuff. So there's so many aspects of the show because it's filmed in like the area that I live in London, and I just cast all of my actual friends and actual flatmates. It's like Starstruck life and real life seeps into each other so much. Me and Emma are legitimately best friends, and we hang out all the time together. Now people have started, recognizing us from the show, and then seeing us out together, and they're like, you're absolute losers. Like, do you have any other friends? Like, we need to stop going to events together because we're just like Patty and Selma or something. Like, it's really embarrassing. But yeah, she's very good. Emma's very good, isn't she? She's cool.
Well, that's like, again, one of the things that's so great about season 2, and if this is something like you and Alice talked about, is like I feel like we learn more about her character. Mm-hmm. Again, also like obviously.
Oh yeah, that great bit
Yeah, like I mean, it's so good, and like obviously goes throughout the season.
Yeah. Like, her and, because Ian, who plays Ian, is her actual boyfriend as well.
You really are just casting everybody.
Who I live with. I lived with both of them for many years. Yeah. It's a racket.
So are you secretly dating a movie star and you're just not telling anyone?
That's the only bit is not true. Also, Alice is back in the series for an episode. The first series, she was in episode 3. She was my friend Amelia, and we joke. It's true. Like whenever a cast member drops out, we just put Alice. We write Alice into it, and that happened with episode 3 of series 2, and so we wrote her into it. She hates being in the show. She does it under duress all of the time. But it's such a pleasure because I think. Like it's such an important part of rom-coms is like not only the relationship, the romantic relationship, but I think the friendship group around them is like so important to those things. Like, yeah, I mean every like Richard Curtis film, you know, has like a whole host of like amazing
Bridget Jones.
characters. Bridget Jones. Can we talk about that? Oh my God. I mean, I met Sally Phillips like years ago, and I was mostly starstruck about her being her friend in Bridget Jones. It was the best. Well, Moaning Myrtle is her friend. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, that's the other like great thing too, is especially as you guys will see, like he gets like Tom gets more involved in the friend group too, which is like very fun and changes like the dynamic obviously of Jesse and his relationship. You know? And how is it like kind of like again like enmeshing him a little bit more into her world.
Yeah, it gives me anxiety even you talking about the fake version of that. Like, you know the idea of like a new boyfriend meeting your is horrible.
Oh, it's so bad.
And it kind of happens in this series. Like there's a party where they all kind of, convene. And what's sweet is that they love him, I think, and Tom loves her friends, and it's quite sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and one thing, I think that I feel like so like attached to in the show is like obviously it's just such good banter, and the like smallest things are just so romantic. Yeah. Like I feel like this episode, like when she's like, "I'm 21," and then his response when he shows up at Magic Mike, like what are like some inspirations and stuff for you behind those?
I mean, I love dialogue. I honestly I think with dialogue and kind of witty banter, the inspiration I think goes back further than because I feel like we didn't have as much of that in like 90s, 2000s rom-coms. It really is like a screwball kind of comedy thing where it's like you just have Rosalind Russell being like, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then you're like, wow, that's really witty. And it's quite a fun thing to be able to write that for television, and so I think, definitely like 40s screwball comedies are a huge inspiration with that. And then I was reading I love Barefoot in the Park. I was reading the play version of it recently again, and like every line of that is funny. Everything is witty, but it comes across so natural, and so that's a massive inspiration for those kind of things as well. Yeah. And just, like the real life conversations I always have.
Yeah, definitely.
Those are just actually like transcripts of me being like really charming and cool every day.
You mean like the weed one?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Well, the other thing is like there's obviously like first season has so many different homages to films that you love. And this one obviously too, we have like kind of that through like to The Graduate. Yeah. I would say Bridget Jones towards the end of the season. Yeah. I think maybe a little Bring It On. You can correct me if I'm wrong about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, hugely. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
and the poster image, yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing people were like, wow, Bring It On walked so this image could run.
That's a really important
But also it's such an important scene.
And so important.
Oh my God, the horny 12-year-old girl watching that.
Oh, same.
Brushing teeth, the restraint.
So hot.
Because that's what I found so hot, and and as a teenage girl, like I think it's like it's not. It's I used to have like stuff. I did a show, Horn Dog, the stand-up show.
Which I mean, obviously we all.
That's so sweet. I talk about a smattering of applause. Wow, you really showed yourself as not fans, the ones that didn't clap. Interesting. No, but it's so much about me being like a total nerd as a teenager, but I think rom-coms are about like the sexiest moments are like weird bits of like restraint. Oh my God, I was watching Pride and Prejudice the other day. Holy crap, the bit with Matthew McFadden with the hand. Actually stop it. Like, that is the most insane, I walked away from my television. Like, that kills me. And I just love moments like that, and not just rom-coms, but just, stories about love that like, are just so iconic, so important, and Bring It On is one of them.
I mean, that song, I think
Oh
of
my
that.
God.
I still.
Oh my God! Remember that bit where she like totally rocks out to the.
Yes, she's like.
I'm like, yeah, okay. She's never danced before in her life. Shout out to Kirsten, yeah. That's good.
So there's a very funny bit there's a couple different things.
Yeah, there's one funny bit in this show.
The rest is just
I hope you can spot it.
Yeah, you guys, the rest, it gets real heavy.
Takes a real dark turn.
Real dark turn, like kind of into Breaking Bad territory. Like there's like a Walter White situation.
Spoiler, not too many spoilers.
Oh, sorry,
okay?
sorry.
It is exactly that, yeah.
But there's a very funny bit in the first, I think like kind of in the opening of episode 2, where you're about the Daily Mail, and so I need to know is like what would your Daily Mail headline be?
Oh my God, I don't know. Probably like Rose Matafeo stuns in a dress that she looks like she got it at a charity bin. I love the Daily Mail when they describe what people are wearing, and the way she's wearing a gorgeous brown cardigan. Here's where you can buy one.
I also love when it like the certain words that are in caps.
Yeah. How do they decide which words are in caps? There's no rhyme or reason to it.
I mean, we might as well just give them a Pulitzer.
Exactly. Love to make the Daily Mail.
Love the Daily Mail.
No, why did I say that? I would hate to make the Daily Mail.
Hey,
reasons.
You might be on the cusp of it, though.
Oh my gosh, hopefully. I don't lead an interesting enough life to make the Daily Mail.
I think that's not true.
No, I don't. I just potter about.
You were on Colbert last night.
I did do that, yeah, that's fine.
How was that?
It was good. It was so funny because actually whenever I do something like that in New Zealand, like the New Zealand newspapers will write some sort of weird headline about it or something, and I think that one was Rose Matafeo goes on the Colbert show and calls him a nerd. I was like, wow, and my nan screenshot it and just sent me that little image, and I was just like, oh God. But yeah, no, that was fun. It was again, nerve. We were talking about this, like, I mean, I had such a crush on him as a teenager, and it was absolutely too much to look him in the eye. Yeah, it was tough.
Okay, well, I actually.
It was tough. It was weird.
Okay, I feel like going back to like kind of this like obviously so much of this is like based on like kind of your own like desires and like stuff that like impacted you as a teenager. Like who are you like your teenage crushes?
Well, I mean, let's get this straight. I would hate to actually go out with a celebrity. That would be hell on earth. And I mean, to be honest, I think Jessie kind of hates it as well.
Yeah, I think she kind of does.
She really has. She just wishes he was just like a normal dude. But I had so many, but then often they were dead. I love Jimmy Stewart, do you know what I mean? Like, he's like the hottest guy on earth. Who was I obsessed with? Morton Harkett, the lead singer of a-ha. Loved him. Had very strong. Mike Myers. I had the most insane crush on him to the extent where I would write in my diary as a child, help me, I'm in love with Mike Myers. I can't believe even as a child I was aware with the help me that something was wrong about it. Like, I'm like, please help me, God. I love this man. I don't know what to do about it. But honestly, I was very attracted to Austin Powers as a child. It was weirdly confusing. But so yeah, Austin Powers, Morton Harkett, Jimmy Stewart. End of list. Oh, and Dimitri from Anastasia.
That is a good one. You're truly with your people right now.
I am truly with
that was really intense.
Emotional. You just got it in a second as well. You were like waiting for me to say Dimitri. Say Dimitri. She's gonna say it. He was so hot, and it was so weird to be attracted to a cartoon. Like, it was such a bizarre experience.
It happens.
Although my friend, she was, I remember she always found young Simba hot in Lion King as well, which is a really confusing crush, I think. But Dimitri, oh my God, John Cusack, what a voice actor, oh my God. It was,
See, it was always Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon for me.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's
very hot.
He's a prince.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So weird. It's so weird. I had a crush on, and a card captor Sakura. Has anyone watched that? Yeah, a couple fans. Yeah, her friend in that. I was like, really. Oh, I'm gonna stop talking now. It's so many weird cartoon character crushes. Talking about.
Well, I wanted to know, like, obviously everyone here is very excited to see the rest of season 2. What are you excited for people to like see and react to, like?
Well, I think it's just, honestly, it's such a pleasure to be able to like bring these characters back, because I think, being able to write Tom's family was really, really fun.
Yeah.
And we cast some incredible people, and that Minnie Driver is back, which is amazing. Yeah, she's the absolute best. I'm very confused as to how we got her. Sort of blackmail. I did actually write her a letter to try and be in it.
What did you say?
I said, I just recently rewatched Phantom of the Opera, and I thought and I thought you were absolutely fantastic. And I was like, why, of all films, mention Phantom of the Opera? Very weird, but obviously worked. And then we've got Russell Tovey in this.
I was very excited to see him.
Oh my God. And he had watched the show as well, and that was like bizarre to me. I was like, why? But and so it's so nice to just be able to revisit these characters, I think, and with all the supporting cast as well. It's just, yeah.
I kind of loved Russell Tovey's character because he plays a director,
yes.
And there's... He's
a dick.
Yeah, and it's so fun.
Oh, I think it was cathartic.
I was gonna say, was it also like being like, I don't know, I'm like, men shouldn't be allowed to direct movies anymore. Like, it's like 2022. Like, what was the time?
It's illegal.
Yeah, it's Women's History Month.
It's illegal, yeah. Yeah. How dare men direct films in women's history?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
But yeah,
cut it out.
How was that? Because I feel like that would have been really fun to write. Like all of the like
Oh, it was completely me just being a total, exercising my demons about, annoying male directors. Russell was like, who is this based on? Who is this based on?
It's all of them.
It was a conglomerate. It was genuinely every interview with a male director where I've been like, shut up. And it was really fun to write like a caricature of a terrible male director. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that's really great is, as you'll see in episode 3, you finally have a scene with Minnie Driver.
I know.
How was
that? I'm not
that?
an idiot this time. the first time when we cast her, and I was there on the day watching that scene. I was just like, why didn't I write the scene? Why didn't I write myself into the scene? So when we came back to the second series and she wanted to be in it again, I was like, I'm doing that bit. And it was so much fun. And then there was actually a scene, like a really brief scene with her and Alice, because when you get Minnie Driver, you get her for a day. You use as much Minnie Driver as you can. And so it was like getting towards the end of the day, and we had a bit of time left, and we're like, let's just improvise a scene with Minnie. And Alice had gotten out of her costume, and she was almost refusing to get back into it. She was like, it's not gonna have time. No, of course not. And I was like, get into your costume and do a scene with Minnie Driver. So we asked art department to go and buy some potatoes from the corner shop. And so Alice is just peeling potatoes in the middle of a party talking to Minnie Driver. And it was so hard to cut down or choose one take of it because every scene was different. I'm gonna release a bootleg of all of the, I really will.
Yeah.
There were so many weird tangents Alice went on. She started talking about how she was a dog walker and was trying to offer to walk Minnie's dogs. And it was so good.
Yeah, well, and also, that episode in general is so good. It's set around New Year's Eve.
Yes, yeah.
And, it seems like obviously you guys are a very small, tight knit. How involved are you in other aspects of the show too, beyond writing and starring? The tuxedo is so good in episode 3 that you wear.
Oh, yes, I'm wearing a tuxedo, yes.
It's very hot, everyone.
That was honestly a weird Easter egg, I think, to people who have seen Taskmaster as well.
Yeah, you're
genuinely
literally your people.
Yeah, I
man.
know. Honestly, the reaction I got to the tuxedo on Taskmaster genuinely inspired me to be like, I'm going to wear a tuxedo again. I was like, I'm going to do it. I have I have a lot of input. I mean,
well, because like even thinking about like Minnie Driver in that episode, like she's wearing such publicist bitch like clothes. It's awesome.
She's like a cartoon character.
Yeah, it's
like
great.
Of a terrible agent. I think you know, I mean, it's because it's a small team that write it, and it is a small team that make the show. Like we don't make it. We don't have heaps and heaps and heaps of money. We've got money to make it, but not lots. We'd love more, please.
HBO, money, please.
please. But I think that's great because it means that I'm just sort of involved in every aspect of it. I'm a control freak. I am a massive control. I like to be on every email thread, no matter how small it is. Like every costume thread, I read the call sheet, like the entire call sheet every morning. I'm a total nerd.
Is there like a bit like either from this season or last season that like maybe was like outside of what your like general Real House that you're like proud of that you managed to get into the show?
In what way?
Just like if it's like a costume or like a visual or something.
Oh, I mean. Yeah, I mean, I always say that I like to have a go on the cameras. Like, I've learned so much from the camera department. Like, I asked so many questions of everyone about what, like, they joke in the second series, the director would always call me Geraldine Gaffer because I was always obsessed with the lighting, and I'm like, what you got there? You got a little depth on pad? All right, okay, all right. What's this go? You got Titans going on? All right, cool, yeah. Checks out. And so, like, and it's great though because it's been an amazing experience to like, you know, because I've started directing stuff as well, and there's no better way of learning all of that stuff than being, you know, in it and asking really annoying questions of every person. But no, I hope to get into catering next.
Okay, great.
Yeah. That's the one thing I haven't got, and but one day I think they'll let me cook lunch and stuff.
Okay, great. What do you think it would be on your menu?
Oh, something quite very easy.
Potatoes?
Yeah, ramen. Instant ramen, yeah.
Well, there's one like very, I think, perfect joke in episode 2 that is references Love Actually.
Yes.
And Jessie talks about Tom Allen recommending her.
He Alan Rickmans her.
Yeah. How did that kind of come together between the two of you? Like it's just so
nothing
well
less
written,
than being
so
Alan
funny.
Rickman. And I don't know if you know what being Alan Rickman is. It is getting the
Joni Mitchell.
Joni Mitchell CD instead of the necklace, right? The most heartbreaking moment in cinema history. It's like it was actually quite unfair to drop that brutal of a moment in what is a rom-com. Like it's so bad. Like it's just, I mean, like bad isn't like, you know, good, but horrible. So I think it's like there's a lot of referential things I think within the show, like kind of aware of the tradition of the romantic comedy, which is I think really fun because as you can tell, I'm a freak for rom-coms. I mean, I love films in general, but me and Alice we've just seen everything. We've seen everything. She's seen all the bad ones. I've seen all the good ones. She watches all the bad ones.
Well, I mean, I think that's very true, especially in the finale of this season too.
Yes.
Is like it very much upends like is like an homage, but also upends.
We're trying to do a grandiose sort of ending, but obviously, I mean, honestly, we undercut it, and I'd like to say that was intentional. It's basically budget reasons. But we just claim like, we're undercutting it by doing it kind of shit, you know, like. No, it's actually totally budget.
Well, one thing that comes in later is Jessie's bad ex.
Oh yes.
Shows back up, and why it was kind of like what was the thinking behind bringing him into the fold?
I love a chaos element. I think it's so important in rom-coms. You gotta, like throw in the chaotic element, like, you know, a wild ex appears, you know.
Out of the wild, like
out of the wild, like Pokemon, where it's like, you know, wild ex appears. And I thought it was a great character. It was a really fun character to play. In the play, I didn't play it. I did a Mike Myers, guys. I played all of the roles. It was a fun character to write because
Ben sucks.
Ben sucks. That's a character. But then maybe it's a terrible reflection on my sort of style of love, but I was like, he's kind of hot. Like, you know, like, oh my God, an ex shows up again. Like, he's absolutely toxic. What's up? But I think, I think in the tradition of like, you know, his inspiration for me in my head, in the back of my head, it was always like, you know, the Cary Grant character, like, you know, and it's like Philadelphia Story, like, you know, it's like he is the you know, the worst ex, you know, in Philadelphia, but then they end up together, and that's, you know, that's fine, I guess. But it's a real Cary Grant energy to that kind of arsehole that, you know, shows back up into someone's life.
Well, it's also interesting because I think that's kind of when, like, it shows kind of Jessie being pretty shitty. You know?
Yeah, she makes some interesting calls.
Yeah.
But then weirdly, I defend them because I sometimes, Alice is like, why would she do that? And I'm like, so maybe she's got some stuff going on, okay? So, yeah. Probably not a good reflection on me.
Well, I mean, I don't know, it happens.
Yeah. I love that. I love the bit where someone comes out.
And then you're like, I'm
and
kind of like,
a card saying, you're doing really well.
it's like, sweetie, you're doing a great job. It does not say that. Okay, so I would be totally remiss to not ask you about Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, you would. How has it not come up yet?
I was trying to like slow my roll, you know? Like I can't just like go there.
You can't just go straight to Dawson's.
I mean, but Dawson.
Well, I only kind of rediscovered Dawson's like in lockdown because, you know, when they put it all on Netflix.
Yeah.
And was anyone else weirded out when they changed it back to the original theme tune? Because I got used to
Me too, and then the finale had the
I don't like it.
It was very confusing.
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
To the point where me and Emma, we were watching it together, just losing our minds over lockdown, watching Dawson's Creek, like crying on the floor most episodes. There is a video she posted on Instagram of me in like a very weird old Victorian nightgown, it seems, like crying.
You're repurposing your nap dress.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, but oh my God, watching Dawson's Creek again turned me into a teenager again, for one.
Oh God, same.
And it just reminded me about how like electric it is when I feel like, you know, shows like that sometimes are dismissed as like, at the time, you know, it was like a teen show, and you know, it was a bit fluffy or whatever, like, you know. I think anything that is about love and like, you know, romance or just like the electric period of like falling in love or being at that age often is slightly dismissed as maybe not serious or not as important.
Yeah.
And Dawson's Creek, oh my God. Honestly, the writing in that show is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's
Mike
so
White
good.
was the writer on it. Mike White.
I know, Mike White. It's so. Although sometimes the episodes written by Mike White, like they take a weird. Like he goes quite strange. Like the episodes, like where it's like they're all in the high school and like it's like a murder mystery, and you're like, who wrote that? Mike White wrote this. Okay, all right, Mike. I just want to see Joey and Pacey not kissing, okay?
I mean, I want to see
kissing.
Joey and Pacey in Kmart.
Oh my God, oh my God.
Oh, that episode literally ruined my life.
Stop it.
I mean, Pacey has ruined lives.
Oh, he is ruined.
Yeah, like I'm so glad I didn't watch that as a teenager because I would have killed myself.
I know, I had to stop. I had to totally stop.
Like at
It's horrible.
36, knowing that Pacey doesn't exist or that it's just Joshua Jackson in real life, what's the point? It's like no point.
It's life worth living. It was honestly a real inspiration though, because we were writing, I was, you know, writing series 2, watching Dawson's Creek, and I feel like it totally did inspire me to like, I don't know, like to writing stories about love and writing, you know, a rom-com is an amazingly exciting, cool thing to put that on screen and to make work that, you know, like people revisit, like Dawson's Creek, like, you know, it's very 90s, but it so still holds up.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, even the way that they deal with like Jack coming out and stuff feels like watching that, I was like, imagine watching this at that period of time. Like, it still feels like, I mean, obviously there's some like stuff, like, really hate they put like Jack with Pacey's brother at the end. Like, ugh, fuck that guy. But like, but like, yeah, it's so like, it is like truly so good.
Remember the episode where Pacey randomly just has bleached blonde hair?
Yes, that was like off his full intention.
And then they go to the hair salon to like dye it back, and like so they have Dawson and Pacey like getting their hair dyed or something. It's such a weird one. So weird.
Well, can we expect season 3?
Well, I have no idea. I really want to lie down, to be honest. I am sick of looking at my own face for 2 years, having to look at my own face. I mean, honestly, I think the question would be really, would it warrant coming back? You know what I mean? I think that was a big thing with series 2. So many people were like, series 1, the perfect ending, may it never continue. Like, you know, like, you can't get better. It can't get better than this. And then we were making the second series, and I was like, oh shit. We did kind of. But then that worked out. I think the second series is does something different. And I think if there was a story to tell for a third series that was a step up or did something different and wasn't just the same thing, I'd be down. But honestly, I'm sick of
I mean, I think
myself.
I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe they should cast you for Magic Mike 3.
Yeah, when is that happening, guys?
Soderbergh says he's written it.
Has he written it?
Allegedly. I mean,
is he directing it?
Yeah, sure is.
Okay. No offense to the man. No offense to the man.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I just don't need the furniture.
Well, Magic Mike XX, that was a wild.
Like, I don't need Channing Tatum building furniture.
The furniture subplot is bizarre.
So bizarre.
Also, the furniture is like shit. Like, I don't want a wagon wheel in my house. Like,
that's like
covered in glass.
See, this is why men shouldn't be allowed
male
to direct.
gaze.
Male gaze is wagon wheel.
Crappy furniture. But that's the thing is, Magic Mike 1, I didn't enjoy. I walked out of the cinema when I watched that.
Yeah.
It was really weird. And then Magic Mike, the second one was directed by his DP, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so strangely, he just got it. I love how he just got female horniness, the DP. He just made the perfect movie.
I mean, it is a perfect
It is a perfect movie. I'm going to watch it tonight.
So I have some questions for you from the audience.
Great.
Okay, why? Oh wow, this person has great handwriting that I can't. Why do you think Imagine Jessie moved to London in the first place?
Why do you think what?
Why do you think that Jessie?
/ Imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
Moved to London in the first place.
Oh, so that she did move for a relationship. So she kind of.
Always a bad idea.
Yeah, I know. Well, for this ex-boyfriend who comes and back into. That's the back. I mean, like, this is not official, but that's sort of what we thought up in our heads is that she moved there, ended up liking it, and then she stayed. Because she couldn't be bothered flying all the way back to New Zealand. It's a long flight.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
How did you learn to be an assertive EP who delegates tasks to staff without feeling bossy or bitchy and without always apologizing?
I haven't learnt that. I do all of those things. I'm an absolute bitch. And
you seem horrible.
I am a nightmare.
Daily Mail, Rose Matafeo, nightmare.
This bitch. It's funny because like EP roles like sometimes people do nothing and sometimes people do a lot, and I'm a person who, if I have that role, have that power, I want to do a lot. I want to be on every email chain. I care about the thing so much. I'm so used to working, with doing stand-up and doing hour-long shows. I did everything myself, every aspect of it, and I've just been. I'm a Max Fisher from Rushmore. I'm the kind of, I'm the kid who made stupid ukulele orchestras at school and stuff. Like, I'm a total nerd when it comes to organization and stuff. But it's so cool to be empowered to have that say over stuff. And I am genuinely interested in every aspect of it. I'm in every sound mix for the show. I'm in every weird ADR session with slight, with cast members and stuff. I meddle a lot. But it's all about collaboration, and you just got to be a nice person. It's like, just remember not to be a dick.
Yeah, just don't be Russell Tovey.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a dick, but also don't. But no, I know what I want, out of things, and I expect a lot from people who I work with to care about the thing as well.
Yeah.
Not in a weird way, but I think you get a team together who are good at what they do and they care about it, and that's the dream. So yeah.
Do you have any advice for young writers trying to get in the TV industry?
Be a dude.
Are you Happy Women's History Month.
Yeah, well, you're in luck. Getting into writing, I came at it through an interesting way of, doing comedy, and then doing the annoying thing that I think a lot of TV writers are annoyed at when comedians write a show and get a TV show. I think young writers getting into television specifically. Watch a ton of TV, read a ton of scripts, just teach yourself how to write a television script. Don't take courses. Honestly, I think if you love TV and you love the medium and you study it yourself, I think producers read so many scripts. Scripts are so boring to read. I will tell you that. They all look the same. Because it's the same font, right?
You mean you're not getting like a script with Comic Sans or
I
something?
want a script in Comic Sans. I want a script in Curls Empty.
Wingdings.
I want a script that I cannot read. But it's true. It's like, I think, you know, you read so many scripts, and I think you've got to just honor who you are as a creative person, you know, and put that into a script, and try not to have, I'd say that would be advice. It's like, try not to think, you know, oh, this is the route. Basically, yeah, don't ask that question. Is the way to be a young writer. No, good luck to whoever you are.
Rose, I'm also half Samoan.
What?
And I love seeing you on screen. Thanks for being so funny and creative.
That's sick. Oh my God, there's a Samoan in New York?
Can we get the hand raised to see?
Hello, oh my God, that's so cool. Oh, that's great. Man, it's you, me, and The Rock. The only three. That's awesome.
Well, maybe you should be in the movie with The Rock.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's so funny because, you know, you joke like, you know, all Samoans would be related. I am related to him by marriage.
Wait, shut up.
Well, because my granddad's second wife, my grandma Priscilla, was related to the Matafeo family. So. And that's, you know, The Rock's family. So that's what I'm going to say to him when I meet him.
Okay.
I'm going to be like, we're cousins, man.
Someone at him on Twitter right now.
Yeah, give me into Jungle Cruise 2. Right? The hell, where's my audition?
What would you do? Like, can you, like, be part of the cruise, like, wear a jaunty hat?
Yeah. Or maybe have a Cockney accent or something like that.
And you're, like, steering the ship. You're the, like, driver of the boat.
I love that. Oh, my God. I joked about that, but they probably are making a second one of that.
No, they're dead. There's absolutely no way they're not making a second one. Yeah.
I would love to meet The Rock. If anyone knows The Rock, please link us up.
Was there anything that surprised you about the process of filming season 2 versus the first? If so, and why? And anything that you would do differently?
We shot the second series so hot off doing the first series. We started shooting it the day the first series came out. So it's almost like we didn't have time to even breathe. It felt like a real discontinuation of what we were doing in the first one. The weirdest thing about doing the second series was we were shooting it, and towards the end of shooting, because as you saw, like, it's the same costume as the last episode of series 1. And so people around, you know, London and South Bank would start being like, hey, we watched the show. And like, as we were shooting the second series of the show, and it was such a surreal thing because it had only been out for, you know, a couple weeks. And they obviously recognized, you know, that purple jacket, which was, we shot that at the height of summer. So that was absolute hell on earth. We had to we never wrap early. We had to wrap early one day because my hair got too hot. It just absorbed all the heat and I started wilting. It was horrific. But yeah, anything I would learn from the second, not particularly, no. I think I learned to write more scenes with me sitting down instead of standing up. Because I was like, oh, that sucked, you know? When I had to go to that party in heels and stuff. No, there's a lot of sitting down for Jessie in the second series. Very comfortable.
What is your favorite line from season 2 and why?
My favorite line from season 2?
I have one.
Oh, what is it?
It's the, it's like the one when Jessie talks about she thinks she's hard to love.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, God.
That's sad. Well, I like, you know what? I like the entire thing about her. Oh, yeah, I do, actually. Can I swear?
I think so.
Sorry, I asked that. I've already sworn like 5 times.
I know, yeah.
Bad time to answer. There's an episode where Tom accidentally calls Jessie kooky.
Oh yes, that is.
And then my favorite line is like, well, I guess I'm kooky then. I guess I'm fucking Helena Bonham Carter. And that like really that was and there was no acting there. It was just like, God, I felt that.
That was like exercising more demons for you.
It wasn't the way I got to say it. I was like, Helena Bonham Carter. No one's ever said her name with that kind of inflection. Yeah.
I love the soundtrack. Will it ever be available on Spotify, Apple Music, etc.?
I don't know. No, you have to bootleg it. You'll have to record it, and they would have all the dialogue. It's a great soundtrack. Hopefully at some point, yeah. Some jingly jangly, you know, piano stuff. I don't know what you'll do to it. Work out at the gym to that music.
Maybe there should be a Peloton class like based around the like soundtrack of the show.
Oh my God, yes. And it's just me taking it, but like eating a burger, just watching you.
Doing like.
You're doing really great.
Doing like a leg lift.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is your favorite rom-com couple?
Oh. That is a hard
Pretty
one.
mean, actually.
Rom-com couple. Okay, hang on.
Sorry, everyone.
It's
Rose
hard.
needs a heads down moment
This is
right
so
now.
hard. Because it's different. It's different for like different things. Like, I mean, what is a rom-com, isn't it? You know, like, what is a rom-com? I love Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell. I love them as a duo. Yeah, absolutely. I've recently been watching the Thin Man series as well, and they're an amazing. Yeah, it's Nick and Nora, the best as a couple. I think more modern ones. Bridget Jones and Colin Firth, man. Like,
Yeah.
Bridget Jones and Colin Firth? No. And Mark Darcy are just the best. I know this is gonna kill me though, because I'm gonna like be at home tonight and I'm gonna think of the perfect one. Harry and Sally.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So some people are like, yeah, correct answer. You got there in the end. It took a while, but of course they're the best ones. God damn it.
Well, okay, so I have to ask then, if you guys, between the two of you, have watched every rom-com ever made, do you have some recent recommendations that you've watched that maybe people can go home and watch?
I love, actually I can't remember. Well, you know what? I made Alice rewatch the other day. She's already seen it. She's so mad at me. I love it. I love P.S. I Love You. I know, and maybe all of my credit's gone now. I have
Wait,
such
isn't Gerard
a weird...
Butler in that?
Yeah.
Isn't he always in those like White Houses burning down movies?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're called. You know when you have a certain film which is like kind of shit, but you have a certain just connection to it? For some reason, P.S. I Love You weirdly does it for me. I know everyone's so disappointed in me right now. I'm not recommending it. I'm not recommending it, okay? I don't watch anything new anymore. It's so weird. Because I was like, I'm making my way through all of the films ever made. So I'm at the 60s. One I watched in lockdown actually when I was writing series 2 was a film, the original, not Sweet November, Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron. Yes, someone was like, God no. You know what? The original film of that, Anthony Newley and Sandy Dennis, is one of my favorite films. It's a cool 60s, fun romp. Actually not fun though, it's quite sad towards it. But I love that, so go watch that and go watch all of the Before Sunrise trilogy again.
Oh God.
Yeah. Revisit it. I watched that in lockdown and
did
it
too.
drove me crazy.
I didn't do midnight though. I was like, I will
No.
no.
But watching a film about people traveling and falling in love at the height of lockdown was self-harm. So now you can do it because, things are, changing. Yeah.
Well, I was actually having a conversation with friends today about, I think people keep talking about, there's always a conversation about, is the rom-com back? Is the rom-com not back? Or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? And also, there's so many actors who I feel should be in a rom-com.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone that you would kill to see in one?
Well, that's a good question. It's, I remember I was talking to Alice about this, and I feel like the nature of rom-com, blockbuster rom-coms, is kind of gone now. She was very excited for Marry Me coming out because
oh my God, it's perfect.
I know. She was like, this is like a blockbuster rom-com, and you don't get that anymore because there's no cinema releases of rom-coms, or it's all on streaming, or it's all it's all television.
Yeah.
And people we don't have the same sort of type of celebrity or actor. We don't have a Sandra Bullock at the moment. We don't have a Julia Roberts. And I think strangely the culture has changed a bit where I don't know. I don't think I don't know if we have that again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, which is depressing.
It is really depressing though.
Yeah.
Because it's like and the whole thing with the rom-com is back. I was like, it never left. Okay. For some of us, it never left.
Some of us are just here.
But I think it's I mean, I think with out and out rom-coms that aren't ashamed of the traditions of rom-coms, perhaps they're back, because I think it's definitely a time where I think people want to watch something joyful and pleasant, and definitely in tough times like this, it's a real comfort thing. So I hope so. Who would I want to be in a rom-com? So many people. I mean, I always dream cast things all the time, but I don't want to out myself, because what if I have to meet them? I want to cast Mike Myers.
Well, I don't really.
Oh my God. So I Married an Ex-Murderer is actually really sweet, guys. It's such a great film, and like their love story, it's always like to There She Goes by the Lars, he's a honey.
I do kind of want to know your thoughts on Marry Me, but I'm also like,
guess what? I haven't seen it yet.
Shit. Okay, well, I think Mike Myers is honestly probably the best way to end everything.
Yeah. Mike
It's
Myers,
full circle.
Please call me.
Mike Myers, Rose is here. She's ready.
I'm ready for the rom-com.
She's ready to play multiple roles in your next vehicle.
Yeah, you take a break. You take a break, Mike. You play one role. I'll play all the rest. All right?
And she'll do the sound too.
Yeah. And the catering.
And the catering.
Yeah.
Instant ramen for everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you,
So
Rose.
much. Oh no.
Everyone, watch season 2 next week.
Next week.
Thank you guys.
So much for coming, guys. I really appreciate it.